Welcome back to MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. 737-7587 is the number if you want to join in the conversation. Talking about the real estate market here in the mid-state with Christie Wilson. Knows her stuff. So much going on here. It's amazing. We've got the lines open if you want to join us. But is it to the point, last time you were on and we were just talking during the break about these big investment groups that would come in and maybe call you sometimes, say, well, Christie, we're looking for a whole swath of homes that we want to buy.
Right.
And then they turn around and rent them over a period of time before maybe eventually selling them?
Right, right. So that they would come in, and now it's just more difficult to find the property that they want to make the return on.
Okay.
So if they want to make a
no, these are investors. They want to make money.
Right. Yeah. They want to make money. I mean, that's the name of the game on them, is just making the money. They're not living there. If they're trying to buy 100 homes, at least 100 homes to put in a portfolio, and they'll either hire a property management company here or create their own property management company to manage those properties.
Okay.
And then at some point they will sell those properties, hopefully for a profit, for what they're thinking, to make their business model work, and then take that money and go invest maybe in the next hottest market.
Wow. Okay. And so the market's that hot for rentals right now too. Still, I remember hearing apartments.
We're starting to see rentals stabilize also. I mean, we've had so little supply and so high demand, and now that's much more balanced.
And what's causing the balance, though? I mean, is this that
overbuilding?
Okay. So it's not that there's. Is it tailing off the number of people moving here a bit? Yeah.
You know, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
people still want to come here. I don't know. There were some crazy numbers I heard about how many people are moving here every single week or something. And
yeah,
compared to how many are leaving, and there's more coming in than going.
Well, and those numbers, how are those numbers created? There's not someone at the airport or the bus station counting people.
That's true. So that's good. That's a good question. I don't know if it's census or how they go about doing that.
Job creation, utilities, rental stuff.
There's indicators you can look for. Okay.
But I see many, many more for rent signs in any given neighborhood than we've seen in a long time.
Okay.
You've seen all the apartments, and I'm speaking to, you know, Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro. They've built a ton of apartments. Maybe not so many in Mount Juliet.
Not as many, no.
Right.
But an awful lot in a lot of places.
Yeah,
I thought they were overbuilding it. Like you said, it's overbuilt, but I thought, who's going to rent these? I was saying that several years ago when they were building a ton of new apartment complexes over there, kind of the Hermitage Donaldson near Percy Priest. And I was just looking at them going, who's building? Who's going to move? And there was, of course, they all filled up.
Yeah.
They've done great, right? What did I know?
So, but we're starting to see those signs on the sides of apartment buildings. Incentive, you know, first 3 months free. There's different incentives being given, but I've
seen more signs for rentals in front of homes too.
Yeah, exactly, and they'll get absorbed. You know, when Vanderbilt comes back, it's all cyclical. But we still, so at the Wilson Group, we also have a property management division, and we manage, gosh, 250 doors that we're managing, and we have very high occupancy rate. I mean, we have turnover, of course, because things happen. People buy a home, people move, people want something different. So there's turnover, but everything seems to still rent out within 30 days or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Randy. Randy, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Randy. What can we do for you?
My wife and I, we live in the Leapers Fort South Out area of Franklin, and we own 13 acres. It's our desire to keep our home, but we would like to sell off the property. How profitable would that be?
Well, it would depend if your property perks. If you split off 5 acres, because I believe in Williamson County you have to have 5 acres in Leapers Fort to put a because are y'all on septic and not city sewer?
Do you know?
Septic, real septic.
Yeah. So you're going to have a minimum of 5 acres that you'd have to split off. So whatever you're going to split off, you're going to have to make sure that perks. So
can you explain to folks what perking is?
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. But I mean,
if it's a septic system, there will have to be soil tests to make sure that that soil will hold human waste.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is, that you're providing your own sewage and that it will absorb it. Like, for instance, where I live in Mount Juliet, we're basically built on rock. It's very hard to find perking, and what you don't want is your sewer from your house going out and then raw sewage bubbling to the surface.
That's right.
You want it to be absorbed by the soil and processed in a safe way. So you'd have to perk it, right? So do you know, would your land perk, sir? Randy?
No, I don't.
Okay, but how does he go? You call someone out from the city, right, or the county?
Well, you're going to want to call gosh, I guess Franklin, the city of Franklin, to get them to come out or find out who you need to hire to come do soil tests. And they're going to do this grid on your property and test the soil.
Dig a little hole and pour water in it.
Right, and just see how
and see if it sucks down.
See if it works. I'm not sure of the cost on those tests anymore.
They're not awful. I mean, we've had it done several times.
Right.
You know, but
and then you're going to have a survey.
And then a survey
to show where you're splitting off, and they'll have to do a stake survey to determine, you know, if your house is right in the middle of it, it's like, well, are you going to carve off this little bit, or so you might even want to start with a survey if you don't have one yet, Randy, and then go from there to make sure you can carve off that 5-acre tract.
But Beres Fork is a desirable area, obviously, and 13 acres. If it perked and he cut it off, I mean, and I don't know if there's zoning things.
I think it would be profitable.
It would be pretty profitable, I would think. Is that the idea? You understand, if you sold it, you're selling it to someone who's going to want to build on it, right, Randy?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, but I don't know. If you want to stay in your home, that's one thing. Can he put restrictions on how he wants it to be sold? Because if he sells it and he doesn't want someone to put in, what is that called, where you just wedge like a bunch of tiny houses right next to each other?
Well, luckily zoning wouldn't allow that anyway. Down there. But call us at the office, Randy, and I can talk to you a little bit more in detail about the process and making sure, you know, giving you a value. Okay, if you spin off 5 acres, what can you get for 5 acres down the Beres Fork area? And you know, and make sure it is going to work for you. But I think on 13 acres, if you've got a perkable property or proper soil there, I think it'd probably be worth your while.
Have you been approached by anyone just out of the blue saying, hey, do you want to sell some land?
Oh, yes. Several realtors have placed the card and called.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. So, hey, you know what? You're sitting in a good position. Just make sure you do your research, all right? And we'll have Christie's number up at the end of the program. You can get the number and touch bases with her if you'd like.
Thank you very much for your time.
You bet.
Sure, have a great day.
Kind of envy him. That's a pretty good gig.
I know.
Good for him.
I love Beres Fork.
Yeah,
what a cool area.
It is. Doesn't Justin Timberlake live out there somewhere now?
Yeah,
I think
he bought a place down there.
Yeah, he'll show up. I have not been out there, seen him or anything, but I heard go to a little market, and every once in a while he'll be in there playing music. And it's a cool place. Let's go to Reverend Fuzz. Reverend Fuzz, good morning.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. You know, one of the great joys of being in the ministry is when people call you, you're able to solve their problems. You know, that gives you this good feeling. But every week, there's not a week that goes by that someone does not call to say, I need somewhere to stay. We're looking for an apartment, a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom. And man, I am not able. I have to say no. I don't like to say no. I have to say there's nothing I can do to help you. Everybody wants that. Now, I do want to ask this question. When I saw your expert on today, I said, I got something I've been dealing with every night. I figured out, I've heard that it costs about $100 a square foot to build a house. So a 1,000 square foot house, you build it for $100,000, roundabout.
That's pretty accurate.
Now, why can't I build a 1,000 square foot house and sell that house for $125,000? I would still make money, I think, or $150,000. So why can't our city do that? Put up $100,000, build a house, or $10 million and build 100 houses, sell them for $125,000 a piece. You got all your money back plus a profit where you can go and build some more houses. The only reason I think they don't do that is because it might cause those $300,000 houses that you built for $100,000 to sell for $150,000. That's kind of like my question to
sure, and I can answer.
What do you think?
I can answer that.
Good question, Reverend.
So what you're missing in your analogy, Reverend, is land cost. Land cost is so high if you're looking in Davidson County. So yes, you can build that 1,000 square foot house for $100 grand.
But you have to have the land to build it on.
You have to have the land to build it on. So let's say you can find land for $80,000 to $100,000 is what your land cost is going to be. Are we talking like an acre
for that?
No, we're talking about a patch. Probably like 0.20 acres.
Okay, you were talking about in the city here,
right? If you're looking in the city. Now, if you go out and can find development property, again, the developers have already pounced and are doing exactly what you're saying. They're getting it, and they can build that. Well, no one's really building 1,000 square foot homes, but let's say a 1,600 square foot home and selling it for $250,000, $300,000.
Right.
But so the land cost and then your infrastructure cost to get your water, sewer, electric. Stormwater is a huge expense right now in Davidson County, and I'm just talking Davidson County. So I love the idea that you could do that, but you're looking at probably another $100,000 in your lot and your infrastructure. So it makes it more of a challenge than people often realize. Yeah,
it's interesting. A lot of people buy homes that are already built. We built one of ours once, and my wife's done it twice. And there's all kinds of expenses you don't think about when you go through this. You think, okay, this, and then you get with the builders. And there's the other thing, by the way. You buy the property and build it. And I have people who are having nice homes built. Finding contractors that are worth a crap, good luck. There's a bunch of slime bags out there that get it started, do a lousy job, they don't show up on time. There are. If you've got yourself a good contractor, they're worth their weight in gold. I hear horror stories. And this is not some fly-by-night someone or whatever, and these are people paying good money for big, fancy houses, getting screwed over.
Yeah.
What's with contractors?
Well, right now the contractors, like everyone in the real estate industry, are so busy. They're so pulled. Their subs that they hire are being stolen by other contractors who are offering to pay them more money. So you start a job, you know, you will do this, and then their competitor says, "I'll pay you $1 more an hour." Steals their crews. I mean, there's just
so that's what
and there are some really jerky, awful contractors out there, just like there are in any industry. You have those people who make it bad for everybody. But
that's a fear for me if I was to build now. It's just worried about making sure I can find a contractor.
Building in a down market.
You
know, building in a building boom when labor is sky high, building materials are sky high, land is sky high, everything is so high right now. It's hard. It is a challenge to build, to renovate, to get the people to show up.
Yep, something to think about.
Yeah.
Let's go to Bobby. Bobby, good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good, Bobby. What's on your mind?
Just calling to ask about the general situation with Nashville. Everybody I grew up with has either moved, they sold their houses real cheap, or either a developer has came and bought the affordable housing that they have and knocked it down and built about 4 houses in a yard. I was just trying to see or ask, do you think the overall plan is to make Nashville a rich tourist town? Because it's basically what it's become, because there's no affordable housing here. And I was just wondering, do they plan on doing anything about affordable housing for people in the city, or it's just a rich boom town now?
All right, yeah, a lot of people asking that question, Bobby. I mean, that's a good one. And, you know, the politicians will say something. What do you think as you observe it, Christy?
So I am very fortunate to sit on the board for Habitat for Humanity, and they,
good for you.
Every month when we meet, we are trying to find land to build affordable housing. And a Habitat homeowner, I mean, you have to qualify. It is so challenging. It's difficult to get a Habitat home because you have to have your own down payment. You have to go through the classes and put in about 150 hours of sweat equity on the house you build and your neighbor's house.
It's still such a wonderful deal.
Such a quality house. So trying to find the land.
Bunch of those over near the fairgrounds, over off Wedgwood. There's some Habitat homes. They're so nice.
There's not really Habitat homes by the fairgrounds.
I thought there were some built along the backside. I remember
there may be some affordable housing out there that THDA did, or another, or the Woodbine Woodbine community. That's another nonprofit.
All right.
So, but to your point, the land is so expensive. Yeah, I mean, it feels like we're becoming this. Well, we are a boom town, and everything's expensive in the areas that were typically affordable. Those are hot areas because they're so close into town. It's easy to get downtown to the restaurants, coffee shops, all that stuff. It is a struggle. It is. I wish I had an answer, but trying to find the land, and if they get the transportation right, you know, where you could go out another ring, get transportation there to get people back in to where the jobs are and things, that's going to help solve a lot of that.
There's just fewer homeowners, I mean, or homes available for people. I mean, you think about the money and how much people earn, and you can't find a home around this area for less than $250,000, right? And that's probably a low ball, right? Yeah, so I don't know, some of those people switch and maybe buy a condo or a townhouse. So you down. I mean, but think about it. I mean, $250,000 is a lot of money, and for a lot of people that work very hard to get together the money to buy a house for $250,000, and it just doesn't exist around here anymore.
Right. Well, you have to go out to an outer ring.
Yeah. Okay.
You know. But so in Davidson County, you can find a $250,000 house. But you better be working with a realtor who can get you in there fast. You need to be pre-approved and ready to go, and you need to have your strategy on how you're going to get that house, because you are competing with investors who are all cash buyers. You're competing, and we have a strategy at the Wilson Group that we do to help our buyers with that. But Donelson's still a really good area. I mean, it's expensive. It's getting much more expensive. Madison, parts of Hermitage, parts of Antioch, moving down the 24 corridor.
I like being the sales guy too. If I'm selling and things are generally equal, or even maybe a little less than equal, I'm going to side with the personal homeowner. I'm not going to sell to a developer. I don't personally really care much for developers. I'm just going to lay that out there. I know they play a role, but I just see too much crap they pull and destroy stuff. I hate that they tear down trees. They build these big, ugly McMansions, and that's exactly what they are. They're big and ugly. And I just don't have much use for them.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well,
that's just me.
And
that's the way it is now, and I know they've built the city, and I know you love them, but I'm not a big fan of developers. And if I have a choice, I ain't selling it to you. I'm selling it to a family that wants the home, and I'll do it for a little less money.
And that's part of your strategy. As the buyer's agent, that's how you strategize for your client to get that house when you are going up against a developer.
Come talk to me, and I'll take care of you. Listen, we'll take a break. Money doesn't always talk. Certainly doesn't always talk with me.
That's right.
We'll take a break. The number 737-7587. More of your calls right after this.